Before I get to this, I love Trump, and I especially love Israel. Daddy Trump, please do not take this down. I'm talking positively about you guys the whole entire time, okay? Shabbat shalom, sister. Okay, anyway, I watched Petal. I am so sick of the gaslighting. I am sick of these overweight, obese individuals telling us that there's nothing wrong with Ariana Grande because healthy bodies look different on everybody. We all carry fat differently. But where's the fat? Where is it? Has it been shoved down her throat before she could empty her food out? Like, where's the fat? The majority of the people convincing us that there's nothing wrong has never seen a bone a day in their life. They think that this is bad and yet this is good. They genuinely cannot tell the difference between somebody who's BMI 19 and somebody who's BMI 2. If you cannot tell the difference between a healthy, slim person and somebody who's emaciated, you need to stop speaking on weight altogether and figure stuff out for yourself. I am sick of the people telling us that these women are promoting EDs. Healthy, slim, black, or melanated women are promoting EDs, and yet this person, who's clearly sick, is accused of having one. Notice the wording they choose. They don't accuse her of promoting it, they accuse her of having it. That says a lot. But okay, joke's over. I'll talk about this with a little bit more understanding now. The reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I've been through it, and I've recovered from it. One of the biggest excuses I've used not to gain was because when I was at a healthy size, I was eating unhealthy and was still depressed. Was that true? Yes. Do you have to be unhealthy in order to gain weight though? No. No one said you had to gain that the way you had before. I'm being very careful with my word usage because YouTube does not take kindly to people openly condemning EDs unless if you're actively promoting the opposite of a restrictive one. But anyway, Ariana Grande used the "this is the healthiest I've ever been" thing as an excuse to keep doing what she's doing. When she was at a healthier size, she wasn't physically healthy. But I just want to say that if this is what you looked like while engaging in unhealthy habits, then imagine how it would have looked like if you engage in the same habits that you're currently taking part in, but instead you add just a little bit more fat to your diet. Instead, you increase the portion sizes of the foods that you are already eating just a little bit. And I'm not talking about big bowls full of vegetables. I mean add more olive oil or add an extra avocado. I heard that she eats meat now, particularly fish. Fish, especially salmon, is one of the best foods you can eat if you want to stay healthy. It is good for gut microbiome, magnesium, potassium, aids in skin cell turnover, and provides energy for your body to sustain. The best way to recover, in my opinion, is to increase fat and protein usage. Do not restrict carbs, obviously, but us women especially need to incorporate fat into our diets. TMI, but after 2 months of trying to recover, my cycle is back to normal. I'm doing much better physically and mentally. Part of that is because I increased my fat consumption. Make sure to implement these fat sources so that you don't end up becoming inflamed. My theory as to why she looks the way she does is most likely due to being in an ongoing calorie deficit. All she knew was that in order for her to lose weight, she'd have to eat more low-calorie foods. Since she was vegan, it made it easier for her to restrict. After taking antidepressants and binge drinking to cope, she relapsed and reverted back to her old ways because that was what she was introduced to. I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just making speculations. You cannot be naturally thin if you've never been naturally thin. You did not always look like that. That is why people have an issue. Now I'm going to refute random claims I've made up in my head while I was in the shower because I have a notion that I'm going to get comments like these. This time, I won't be hiding these comments. I do not want to look crazy every time I respond to people who say outrageous things like this without anyone having to check them. Okay. To the people thinking that this is only about looks, it's not. The look was a manifestation of those habits. When someone all of a sudden lowers their body fat percentage, people are going to be concerned, end of story. When it comes to attractiveness, markers of good health are seen as such. Emaciation is not attractive to any normal human being. If you're attracted to it, you either want to look like that and you're living vicariously through the person you're looking at, you fetishize it because it overlaps with other fetishes that could get you in jail, but because these are emaciated women, right, these are adults, you use their ages as excuses to be attracted to them, or you were groomed into thinking that this is societally seen as attractive. Notice how the majority of people are concerned for her well-being instead of making jokes at her expense. Yeah, because we know that she has a problem. If you're slim and secure in yourself, you wouldn't feel the need to slim down. Her sternum is showing. Her chest bones are showing. Her shoulders are protruding. Her cheeks are sunken. Her arm to waist ratio is startling. Her back is poking and her collarbones are protruding more than it is before. If she chooses to highlight those parts and going as far as to body check in a music video, then that's how you know this stuff is intentional. And to the misandrists in the comment section that are about to blame the patriarchy and yada yada for this, you're refusing to recover because of your soul ties to hating on the opposite sex. You are so set in trying to spite them that you'd almost die doing so. Please heal your relationship towards half the population instead of projecting your habits onto them. You guys say stuff like, I'm not harming myself or a guy, I'm doing this to spite them. But underneath the same breath, you're going as far as to say, men created the standard, dude. Men said that emaciation was beautiful. Unless if you're talking about the higher-ups that are into literal children, because yes, there's an overlap between emaciation and physical/mental regression, normal healthy people are not attracted to that. When normal healthy people see this, they get concerned. They ask you if you are okay. Majority of people around the world are not into emaciation, so please cut it. Why do you care so much, fake fan? Well, first off, I've been through it, and it's kind of surreal to see someone you've idolized growing up to go through similar. But second, because I do not want her or anyone else following her footsteps to die from malnutrition. No matter how healthy you're eating or how much you're moving, you are never going to do well unless if you have the energy to do so. If you're talking about it, then it'll encourage her to keep going. I can tell you've never experienced this. Or maybe Anna's shrinking your brain a little bit. I don't know. There's a huge double bind when it comes to erectile dysfunctions. No, the other EDs. On one hand, if you comment on their size, that'll either fuel them to keep going because the process is working and people could see the starvation happen in real time. It would encourage them because they'd probably keep going out of spite or because negativity responds to negativity. If people are not being compassionate, obviously they wouldn't find any other direction other than the path that she's currently in. But if we all stopped saying anything about it, then they'd be concerned that no one is openly concerned for them. They think they're not sick enough, and they are going to keep going until people point it out. They're oblivious. They genuinely do not know their size. They don't know what they look like. They're going through body dysmorphia. If you'd ask me, I think it would be better for people to point it out. This can plant a seed into their head to later choose recovery if they'd so please. Silence does more harm than good in these cases. If you're going to ask questions like this, up your intake. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, well, Lola Ducky, you started off making fun of people. Yeah, because when you guys are nice, it doesn't get to you as much. I want people to actually internalize the words that I'm saying. All right? Of course, including the first part, when I talked good about our president and our country, I also did that to weed out those broads that want to force themselves into everything. You guys can watch the millions of Ariana Grande videos from non-disordered or non-ex disordered people who are nice, who would say the same exact things, who would say what you'd want to hear, and who would pander to you. Over here, we're ourselves. We are not going to change our personalities for people we do not know. If you want to watch a video from someone who understands this perspective internally, but is kinder about it, check out this channel. I've been watching them during my disordered days, and I still watch them today because their kind approach towards recovery has helped me a lot. I know recovery and eating healthier is not as easy as I'm making it out to be, but understand that things are not always easy. We are all struggling with things. The best you can do is try to mitigate harm as much as you can. You can start by eating an extra 200 calories every week if bloating is what you're afraid of. Try to open your calorie budget up slowly. Unless if you're struggling with a bed disorder. Put down the McDonald's burger that would replace your 3 meals throughout the day and try eating at a 500 calorie deficit instead. But that is all I have for today. And my Lord, I've said a lot, all right? New video is going to come out soon. I don't know when, but it will be soon, okay? And yeah, bye-bye.